Hey people, welcome to the channel. Here we go again with Star Citizen. I was watching some of the things that they're selling in their website, which is, you have to be super careful with these things. The advice is always the same. Get your starter ship, earn everything else in game, be happy. Don't be one of these people that end up with one of these things, because trust me, it is really not worth it. So, trust me on this thing. Get yourself the basic starter pack, right, and go from there. It's not worth. You're not gonna have more fun for buying more things. Now, that is my advice. You do you. If you don't care about going and spending, what is it, $15,000 on Praetorian pack, to just go and do that, right? If that makes you happy. Keep in mind, I did a dedicated video explaining how extremely good CIG is at what they do, which is not making a video game. It is convincing you that you need to press a button here so as to be happy. Trust me, they are the best there ever was at that. They really managed to convince people that it's gonna be so awesome if you just and get the exploration mega pack $29.50, right? And people, yeah, well, it's a couple $1,000 bucks. I have the disposable income, and that's where you get screwed, because it's not gonna be fun. Now, having said all of that, let's recap a little bit. Starter pack, right? That's what you want to buy if you want to start playing. And as I always say, if you really are looking at getting into Star Citizen and playing for the first time, you definitely can use my referral, which I appreciate for everyone that does. I don't get anything other than the points for whatever thing it unlocks. I think it's the Blade or something like that, which are not even great ships. But, since you're doing this anyway, might as well get some more points and maybe eventually get something that is at least fun to see in a video or whatnot. So yeah, you would be supporting the channel if you go with the link there from the referral. So as I was explaining in the previous video, this is probably now the starter pack to get. You get the Drake Golem, which is a mining. It's the first one they've actually done, which is a starter mining ship for $67. Fuck, it is still $67. You can get now No Man's Sky for $15, but we get it. It is what it is. Now, usually a lot of people will say go with the Aurora MR, which I would say back in the olden days, sure, get the Aurora MR. It's actually a nice little fighting ship. It does well. Not anymore. It does not. My advice over the years has usually been get the Avenger Titan, which was my starter pack. I love that ship. It was a lot of fun, and it's not what it used to be. It has, it's not as good for combat anymore. But let me make this clear: if you start with any other ship, maybe you probably want to work towards an Aurora. If you don't like the idea of doing mining and you want to do maybe a little bit of combat within the limitations, maybe a little bit of moving cargo around, you can do that with the Avenger Titan. It has 8 SCU of cargo. That's not a lot, but there are a few missions here and there where moving 8 SCU of cargo makes you some money. Of course, you can then rent a bigger ship, start moving around more stuff, make more money in game, and then buy other things. The Cuddy Black is also, but here anything that's over $100, I think is stupid, honestly. And I would know. Don't, right? Now, what is the process? What's the case of how do you move towards bigger and better things? So you started with your little Golem or your little Aurora MR because you just wanted to get into the game. This is the cheapest way to get into the game. You go with the Aurora MR. With the Aurora MR, you have the game, you buy the game package, so you get the game, and you can fly around. There's really nothing else in that. I don't even think it has any cargo capacity, but it is a ship. It flies. Combat, no. Cargo, no. It is no to everything. It has a bed. You can bed log, but that's kind of it. And these are not good fighters. This one, the Intrepid, $80. Fucking kidding me? No. For $80, I mean, no way. If you want to go into something that has a little bit more cargo capacity, the Cuddy Black has 42 SCU, is it? But again, just start with this, make your money in game, and what is that you buy from that moment on? Well, I would get in game an Avenger Titan. It is a step up from flying around in this bucket that mines, but it's still a bucket, no combat capability. This is a little bit more capable of shooting shit, and you have a ship that has a bed to log out, and you have 8 SCU. You can keep on moving towards this, a Cuddy Black, which would be probably the next step I would suggest going with. Some people like the Freelancer. I would rather go with the Cuddy Black. Honestly, I think it's a more practical, more enjoyable ship in general. Now, here is where, okay, I started, I got this. What about getting into mining? Well, if this is the one you have the Prospector and you have the Mole. The Prospector, again, if you started with Avenger Titan, you can make money in-game so as to buy a Prospector in-game, right? You can go with a Prospector, you can go with a Vulture. Vulture is probably going to be a little bit more profitable. Salvaging with a Vulture, which you can buy in-game and is not all that expensive, it's a couple million, so it's going to take a while. But what else are you going to do? You're playing the freaking game, right? So the Vulture would be one of the ships that you can make a little bit more money with. And then you have to start accumulating for your big ship that does this stuff, right? And that would be, well, none of these ones. It's going to be your Constellation Taurus. Let me go here to ships. Let's organize this from price up and down. And that's basically the combo. That's what you need in terms of what you have here, right? I would honestly go with that. That's the process I would go through, right? Maybe even better. Let's show it here in the, what is it? The ship upgrades. So let's go with the CCU thing. I think that's a little bit more accurate in terms of, okay, here you have all of the ships in the game. That's all there is, right? So you started with your Aurora or your Golem, right? Or something else. Or the Avenger Titan, which I mentioned so many times. Whatever it is you started with, where's the freaking Golem thing? Somewhere here, Golem. All right. The Cutter was also a nice little starter ship. The Cutter, though, it sucks at combat. It's just, especially now, a lot of the ships in the game became absolute complete crap after Master Modes. It used to be that, well, kind of, yeah, it was always going to be bad, but these two were very decent ships. Now, forget about it. No way. As I said before, the step there is the Golem $60. So the step up from this is gonna be something like no, none of these things. You could say the Nomad, but definitely no. It's gonna be the Cuddy Black would be the next big thing, and it's in terms of shields and quantum travel. For some people, a Freelancer, Cuddy Black. Cuddy Black allows you to do a little bit more cargo runs and so on. And from there, as I was saying before, you jump. You could go with a C1 instead of a Cuddy Black. In game, also available. It has a little bit more room, and the guns are the exact same. Shields, maybe a little bit more hull HP. But from that point, you could go for a Freelancer Max. It has a lot of capacity. But my advice is, once you have the Cuddy Black, work your way towards either Vulture, Prospector. Vulture is going to be more money than the Prospector, and from that point start making money in the game. And with that money in the game, you buy this thing right here. You buy the Constellation Taurus. With the Constellation Taurus, it is 170 something SC of cargo. You can buy this in the game. It has 4 size 5 guns, so you can do some serious combat in the game as well. And that's your end game ship. Anything bigger than that really does not make any sense. The Constellation Andromeda has this snub fighter. It's not really worth it because it has a lot less cargo capacity. Then you can go, maybe your last end game ship, Corsair. Less capacity than the Taurus, less guns. I know it got a few back. Forget about this. It's terrible. Star Lancer Max, 4 size 4 guns. Again, it is just for a little bit less cargo capacity, much better guns in the Taurus. Mercury Star Runner, hell no. None of these things is worth anything. You could go with a mole if you want to do that. I mean, you could solo it, but one of the other things to get is probably either the C2 and the Reclaimer. C2 for a lot of cargo capacity. Hull C for some people. The C2 I like quite a bit. I've used that a lot. And the Reclaimer. With a Reclaimer, you can make a lot of money salvaging big ships. You eat up the entire... Well, not eat up. It disappears and it goes through a little straw or some bullshit like that. Hull C for some people that were saying can make a lot of money with that. And then that's kind of it. Anything else is going to be just for shits and giggles. The Carrack... yeah, exploration with a Carrack. No, there's nothing to explore. Now you can shoot a couple guns in there. Well, these are not even in game, but your A90 jump, your Polaris, sure. But you're not gonna do anything that in terms of making money with these things, right? The money making thing is gonna be the C2. It's gonna be the Mole, the Vulture. The money maker is gonna be the Reclaimer, right? Or something to do combat, and that's where the Constellation Taurus becomes the best ship in the game because it allows you to do very decent cargo runs and very, very good combat. Those two things are the real money makers, unless you get into the salvaging and mining. But guys, that's basically what you want to get in terms of being smart about it, progressing within the game, and buying the ships that are actually worth it, and not buying everything else that is kind of shit. Unless you get like a combat ship, but again, there's really no point. PvP ship PvP. I mean, it's for, I want to say for fucking stupid people, but it's so much worse than it used to be. I don't find the pleasure in PvP with small fighters, and using it in PvE. No, you get the Taurus with those big guns and the big ship that can take a beating. Guys, that's my take on these things. That's how I think you should progress within the game, in-game money. All right, see you later. Take care.